Welcome to Icon 2016, the longest running comics and games convention in the country. We have a host of amazing events for you this weekend. 100 Rand gets you through the door, 150 Rand for an entire weekend. The amazing events we have on offer, like this panel presentation. Panels all weekend, 2 separate stages with instructive, educational, and informative panels. We also have the ability to fight a knight. You can actually step into our medieval arena, get on some kit, and take some shots at a full-blooded knight. We also have an amazing competition by our sponsors, Always On Wi-Fi. Always On has provided an amazingly branded sports vehicle, but this sports vehicle needs a name. So come on down to Icon 2016, take a photo of the vehicle, use the correct hashtags, and you stand a chance to win some amazing prizes, including a surprise Suicide Squad hamper. Now, there will be Suicide Squad cosplay members around during the course of today and tomorrow. So if you do get a chance to get the cosplay member in front of the car, that might maybe increase your chances. We'll have to see. But get on down to Gallagher Convention Center today or tomorrow, a host of free play areas and the panels, like this one. This particular panel is sponsored by SA Guide Dogs. Now, SA Guide Dogs have been one of the sponsors, one of the charities that Icon sponsors each and every year. We make donations and we've helped SA Guide Dogs in their funding programs to get new guide dogs each and every year. So what we're going to do is pan down to, we've got a couple of guests. We have Opal and we have Fenta. Now, Opal and Fenta sitting here front row. Opal is actually going to be a bitch for the SA Guide Dogs Association. It's not as bad as it sounds. What it actually means is she's going to help breed the next few generations of guide dog puppies. And just behind, really, really attentive, we have Fenta. Fenta is just about to go into the training program now to become a full guide dog. So we want to say thank you very much to SA Guide Dogs for helping us put this panel presentation together. If you'd like more information, you should go to www.guidedog.org.za. For more information, come on down to Icon 2016. They actually have a stall here. They have an amazing competition, raffle competition, where you could win a car. $25 gets you a ticket. You have a chance to win a vehicle, and you're going to be supporting an amazing organization as well. So big thanks to SA Guide Dogs. Now, on to our particular panel presentation, where we have a very cool South African artist. Very cool. I say that, and he's going to sort of be all shy and stuff.
Yes.
It's Jason Masters. How are you, Jason?
Right, you, Les.
I'm very good.
So I'll adjust myself here.
Let's make sure I'm not casting a shadow on you. Let's just move around a bit.
I'd like you to cast a shadow, so I'm not blind.
You'd like me to cast a shadow onto you now?
Yes,
how's your? Let's just. Can we just check Jason's mic?
I don't think you can hear me. Anyone? Hello.
Mike's the mic for Jason is a little faint, so we'll get. So
Hello?
what I'm going to do,
Better?
Jason,
Yeah.
in the industry we call this tap dancing.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is tap dance and talk to the camera and explain why Jason's here. Now, Jason is a South African comic book artist who has done a number of covers, a number of issues for Marvel and DC. He's done work on the Batman comics. He's done work on the all-new Wolverines comic. And last year, we had Jason as a podcast interview. And during it, he was rather coy about a new piece of information that he couldn't really share. That piece of information was that he'd been selected by none other than Warren Ellis to draw the James Bond comic. Dynamite Comics had managed to secure the rights to the James Bond comic to create an all-new drive. Warren Ellis was selected as the writer, and he specifically chose Jason to be his artist. So we've got Jason on stage now to actually talk about this. Jason, why did Warren, apart from you being an amazing artist with an eye for detail, etc., why exactly did Warren select you?
Basically because I harassed him until he didn't have a choice, I think.
You harassed him till he had no choice.
No.
So the lesson here, kids,
Don't give
is
up
to never, ever, ever give up.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
It must be more than a year ago now. I mailed Warren. He has a newsletter that he sends out weekly, just what he's up to and so on. And I've been a fan for a long time, so I sent him a mail, said, hey man, I'd love to work with you sometime, mind if I send you some pages? And he was very nice as he always is and just said, sure.
So you actually,
yeah.
At the time that you sent the letter to Warren, what were you working on at that point?
I think I just...
What had you done? What was your body of work for Marvel?
Oh, body of work.
Yeah.
Oh, I just finished an issue of Wolverines where Deadpool attempted to replace Wolverine in various superhero teams. It was quite a lot of fun.
Right.
He ran around collecting all the costumes and just was rejected from every single superhero team that he tried to get into, which was quite fun and a lot of fun to draw. So I drew Deadpool, but I never got to draw Deadpool in his costume,
Right.
which is dressed as amalgam of all the Wolverines.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, you'd had covers on Batman. You'd had multiple works published. So at this point, you've now got a body of work, and you've said, "Hey, Warren, you're pretty cool. This is what I do.
Yeah.
What do you think?"
Yes.
And what was it?
His answer was no.
Just a flat no.
No, he was
Not
much nicer
interested?
than that. He said he's a bit busy at the moment,
Right.
but thanks. And I said, well, if you don't mind, I'll send you some stuff later. I mean, I won't harass you. And he said, yeah, okay, cool.
Okay.
And eventually, I ended up doing a commission for somebody of Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan.
Right.
Yeah, and just for a friend of a friend, and I tweeted it out.
And tagged him in.
Yeah, and tagged him in because I'm needy and want the attention.
Isn't that the same with all artists?
I think so.
That you're
yeah.
dark, tortured souls that nobody understands.
Yeah, we're all pretending we're making art for art's sake, but we really just want people to pat us on the back.
It is art for art's sake.
No, not me. I want the
You're
attention
doing
and the
it for the
accolades, please, and then
The
the money.
accolades, the attention, the filthy cash.
Mainly the filthy cash.
Mainly the. I guess that, a good point here is for anybody who's trying to get into the business. I think one key point from Jason's story then was he was very gracious about his request. He was also very gracious about the no that he received. So there's no problem reaching out to the people that you follow, but you might want to just be gracious in dealing with them and don't be too pushy.
Yeah, I'm reticent to say do what I did because some people can get upset when they don't get the attention or they don't get a positive review for their things and they can start harassing. And
Right.
no professional of like Warren's caliber wants to be harassed,
Yeah.
even of any caliber.
This is true. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we've sent through some work. This is cool. Then you've done Spider Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And hey, let me just tag this. What was Warren's feedback?
He just said, very nice, what are you working on now? And being cheeky, I said, we're still hoping to work with you sometime.
I'm working on whatever you tell me I should be working on.
Well, basically what I said.
Right.
That was our Twitter exchange, and I have a few friends who follow both of us who saw that go down. And still
So that wasn't a private exchange.
No,
that was
all on
that's
Twitter.
nice work, what are you doing?
Yeah. And so I was like, well, you should maybe mail me. So I did. And,
Okay.
kind of started the whole process.
So I'm guessing, at the time that you had that interaction, had Warren been selected for the James Bond comic?
As far as I know, he'd already been selected, but the timeline hadn't moved forward yet.
All right.
Because when Warren and I started chatting, we should actually just call this panel Ask Me Questions About Warren, in which I lie, because I don't know enough about him.
Absolutely. So how's Warren when he wakes up in the morning?
He doesn't wake up in the morning.
He doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I derailed that.
That's okay. Did the offer come from Warren? Did it come from Dynamite? How did it work?
No, it came from Warren himself. We were chatting about doing a creator-owned book, something, because that's kind of what I want to do. You need to start making your own intellectual properties.
Right.
If you want to get anywhere in the comic book world, because comic books don't pay that well unless you're working for the big two. And
Right.
so if you want to have any control over your life, you have to gamble a little bit on making a creator-owned project. And I wanted to do something with Warren, and we were chatting about that. And then I didn't hear from him for a little while, a week or so. And he asked me what I think of James Bond.
Hang on, sorry. You
Yes.
had a little bit of an interaction, then you hadn't heard from one.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to go, should I send something now? It's been another 2 hours, should I send something now? Was that tough?
Oh yeah, of course. It always is.
Sure.
But it's like that when you're chatting with your editors at various comic book companies as well.
Right.
Because they're dealing with like hundreds of people and hundreds of submissions.
Right.
And Warren, as far as I know, is writing like 10 projects at a time, always.
Wow.
And that's just a random number, like I said,
Sure.
lying.
Right. So you've now been selected. He said, what do you think about James Bond?
Yeah.
And your response was? No, give me something else. Give me Spider Jerusalem.
No, I said I like James Bond because I thought that he was asking to like test the waters to see if he then maybe he wanted to do a spy book in the vein of James Bond.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, I like James Bond. Who doesn't like James Bond?
Sure.
I grew up with him. I even like the films like nobody else likes. So, on Her Majesty's Secret Service and all that.
Oh, George Lazenby.
Yeah, I thought he was great. Shush.
Oh, look, he's Australian. I have to.
Oh, yeah,
I have
okay.
to wave the flag.
It's in your contract. Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah. You sign that when when you get bored. These are the Australian things that you must enjoy,
Yeah.
including George Lazenby.
I enjoyed him.
And
I was 8.
he said it's through Dynamite.
Yes.
This is what the deal is. This is the information that now comes through from them. What's the schedule? What are they expecting from you? What did they tell you?
It's still a few months out before the book actually comes out, and I'm still like, what? There's a James Bond coming out? And I was quite hesitant. I really wanted to do a creator-owned book rather than work on James Bond on the Tuesday, and then when I woke up on the Wednesday, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you not want to draw James Bond?
Why would you not want to work with Warren?
Yeah, exactly. But I was always going to say yes. I mean, anything. Like, Warren relaunches Casper the Friendly Ghost, I'm going to try and draw that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you want to try and do anything you could.
Yeah.
Now, how does the process then begin? Because it's now, we know the stereotypical James Bond image. Did the estate have any say over what must happen, what must not happen? How did those conversations go?
Yeah, they're very involved. Yeah, they wanted. I think they wanted it to be a James Bond based on the books, not the films, none of that. And I'm not sure if that came as a directive from the Ian Fleming estate or from Warren himself.
Right.
But that was the source material. As far as I know, Warren just read through all the books, and
Right.
then when it came to after that, it was time to design characters, and Ian Fleming's estate was very involved in that as well. Because you need to design Q and Moneypenny and then all the various other characters that, like
Right.
Felix Leiter, stuff like that.
Well, so we've actually got some shots on screen. So
Yeah.
these are things that you designed first. So you and Warren have a conversation.
Yeah.
We go, this is how Warren's got some pointers. This is how we see these things working.
I get a very detailed document from Warren describing, okay, these are the sort of suits that James Bond would wear as a modern day agent. Like modern day James Bond from the novels, he'd wear this. This is what he would be drinking. More than likely, this is the car he'd be driving.
Right.
Even then updated the Walther PPK to the Walther P99.
Yeah, so that was actually on that shot there. There was a focus on the handgun in the bottom left-hand corner. So while there are certain iconic Bond things that they're not going to be as functional today.
Yeah.
Hence, they require a bit of modernization. What can you tell us about the watch? Even though you've just drawn it, what does the watch do?
Oh, the watch does nothing.
The watch is a
tells the
watch.
time. The watch doesn't make that much of an appearance in the
Jason,
comic.
that's now really incredibly disappointing.
8
Thank you
issues
very
in
much.
so far, and the watch shows up every now and then when he's punching someone. You get a glimpse of it.
You get a glimpse of the watch?
Yeah.
Are there branding opportunities? Have Tag or Breitling come along and said, Jason, let's pay you a bit of extra money just for our logo to go in there?
No, actually, oddly enough. It seems like something they would have done, but
We need
I
to
think
reach
this
out
is
to
a-
Dynamite. and
Yeah,
let them
I
know.
think this is a purer form of the
Sure.
of the
A
story.
purer form of the story.
Not messed with by corporations telling you James Bond should be driving this car into the villain's face.
Right.
You know.
Gotcha. So the design for Moneypenny.
Yes.
Warren gave direction.
Yes.
The estate gave direction. What were the conversations around that?
Moneypenny was one of the easiest, actually. I based her on my little sister, and
Does your sister know?
oh yeah, she knows.
Yeah.
I actually asked her if she wouldn't mind, and I took a couple of photos, and and that was it. She was one of the easiest ones. They approved her quite quickly. It was James Bond himself that took forever. I think I drew easily 25 different versions of his face. Just
Really?
yeah, I did a whole process with Warren first, where I drew like possibly 10 James Bonds with
Okay.
some direction from him. He had some ideas on like, all right, so if his hair's always slicked back, so then maybe he should always be doing this, and then because he's got the little curl that comes down.
Right.
Maybe that's the thing he struggles with really because he's trying to slick his hair back, and then
And there's always this
the
little
curl
bit.
just pops out. You know,
Did they send the scope for you that this is what we're going to need? Obviously, Warren's got ideas for the first story arc.
yeah.
This is what I'm going to need. Please organize some ideas around this. This is what I'm envisaging. Throw it to you. You do it and send it back to him. Is that pretty much the process?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But then it had a whole second process where it went to Dynamite, and Dynamite had to send it through to the Ian Fleming estate, and then they came back with a lot of notes about. There's a description in the book about James Bond looking a little bit like, and I always forget his name, like a 1930s actor, Hoagie Carmichael.
Okay.
Hoagie Carmichael with a crueler mouth. I think in
Hoagie
Fleming.
Carmichael with a cooler mouth. That's the description.
Yeah, that's the description. And I drew a Hoagie Carmichael with a crueler mouth, but he wasn't attractive enough.
Right.
So he just, if you were to watch or put the frames of the actual design of James Bond onto a film, it would probably just look as he evolves into a prettier version of himself, slowly.
Gotcha.
More handsome, more handsome, more handsome. You know.
The back and forward here. Obviously, there are certain things that need to get out. Yeah. Well, what did you jump at first? Jump at Bond?
Oh yeah, Bond first, always.
Okay,
because
so
that
we
was
need-
the most important.
Okay, so we needed to get Bond sorted, figured out, and then it was just a progression down the list. Here's the next one. Here's the next one.
Well, I was privy to what was going to happen in the next 6 issues and who the main characters were. So I basically went, okay, James Bond gets the most face time, then Q, then Moneypenny, then Bill Tanner. So I kind of worked
Okay.
in that order, just
Right.
who was
Well,
the most.
I think what we might do is move along to the next graphic there because we've got a little bit of different information coming up.
Yeah.
What is your? I mean, your work hours. You're incredibly diligent. How long did this process go? This back and forward till we got the entire cast done?
Sure. That's a good question, but probably I wouldn't be surprised if it was like easily 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8
Yeah.
for the entire cast that you needed to do.
Oh well, no, I was
get the
busy
concepts?
working on the book at the same time,
Okay.
doing layouts and things like that. So
Sure.
to get the actual cast done and approved, like James Bond himself was probably just easily 3 to 4 weeks of just James Bond, and everybody else was quite quick.
3 to
after
4
that.
weeks just focusing on the.
I'm
on
a
the
little
character.
sleep deprived. My timing might be off,
Gotcha.
but
right.
it was a long time. It feels like 1,000 years.
I think we might bring the next image up
Yeah,
on the
sure.
screen then for everybody to have a look at. We've got it here on the main stage.
Yeah.
These are the final development images. Like even a
I
note
got the
there.
design of James Bond villain as well. That's
So
was
a
fun.
slight droop on the left.
yeah.
Okay. So the amount of, even though it's not a creator-owned book, there's still, well, I guess the estate, because they've got to make sure that the memory and the legacy is correct,
Yeah.
they're going to have to control a
Yes.
lot of stuff. Okay. So these are back and forwards. Warren's happy. When did you first get the script from Warren?
Oh, I don't know. The exact date. I don't know.
Oh, as in, no, in this process, did he give you the script first up that you knew where you should be going with the story?
It comes as a sort of a breakdown first, with a little paragraph about what's going to happen in each issue, like a
Right.
short overview, and I had that first.
Okay.
But quite shortly after that, I had the script for the first issue, and I had to start working.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How long, what is your production time for getting an issue out?
It takes me, when I started, and Dynamite was asking me how long everything would take, I was like, it'll take me about 6 to 7 weeks to do 20 pages. And then it turns out I'm doing 22 pages. And by the way, I need to do them monthly, which
Was it-
unfortunately, not something I can do. But so at the moment, it's about 5 to 6 weeks per issue.
Was the initial pitch that it was going to be a monthly book or was going to be a limited series?
Yes, the first arc was definitely going to be monthly, but that's why we had a bit of lead time. I got to get a few issues under the belt before it came out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We've now got the story, so we know what's going on. And now, this is what I can do in 6 to 7 weeks, but now I need to do more, and now my timelines are
Yeah.
dropped. These are always the things that you have to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
So how much sleep do you have now?
Oh, at the moment, I'm in a deadline. I'm going straight from here to try to finish an issue.
Okay.
Well, not
I
straight,
think from
but
here to the signing booth.
yeah,
and
you
then,
have the signing, and then
and then you're
trying
actually
to
going back to
finish
work. Yeah, so we actually only have Jason for this particular session. We do have an autograph
I'd
session
love
with.
to stay.
Yeah.
So much
Isn't
fun.
is it not pretty cool?
Hey?
Is, do you,
It
are
looks
you liking
amazing.
Thank you.
I'm very excited. I haven't been to Icon probably for 10 years. Easily.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
A lot different.
Well, maybe it's
yeah.
not 10 years, but maybe 5 years.
Well, yeah, we've actually got Jason coming down for a signing session. It's near the Outer Limits booth. You'll be able, actually be able to pick up issues of James Bond. I don't know, have we got confirmation on the hardback?
No, I don't. I don't know if there are any around. To be honest, I
Okay.
don't know if there are even any in the country. I think Grant's got one for me
Right.
in the car,
Yeah,
which I'm
so-
very excited to see. I still haven't seen it.
You still haven't seen it.
No.
Part of the reason for this panel is, apart from taking you through the process of what Jason's done here with the James Bond comic, is also to celebrate the release of the hardback edition. It's a hardback
Yes, they did a
Hardback
hardcover, which
edition
I was very
of-
excited about.
of the first 6 issues, the first story run.
Yeah. So if you haven't picked up one before, you can sit down, read just straight through. Don't have to wait.
What do you like? Are you an issue guy or are you a trade paperback guy?
It depends on the book itself. Like I think James Bond is a story that's better suited to sit down and read in one session,
Yeah.
as opposed to like monthly, because it's structured like a movie. So it would be like watching the first 20 minutes of a movie. So I personally think it's better for this particular story to read it as one thing, but I like monthly issues as well. When I'm excited about something, I don't care. I'll pick it up monthly, or
Okay.
if I've missed something, then I'll pick it up in trade.
Well, I think it's one of the statistics now for the industry that trade paperback sales go well. We'll do smaller runs of the monthly issues because people are going to the trade because they just want to sit down and read it all at one time.
I
So
think you're privy to more information than I am, but yeah, that sounds about right.
sounds what I tend to find though is some of the older comic readers. That's what they've known. They've known the buying the issue each and every month, so that's what they tend to be doing. And it's a lot of the newer readers that are coming in. Let me grab an entire story at once rather than trying to chase back issues.
Yeah.
But you either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
for you?
no, for me it doesn't matter. The story is the important thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Story's an important thing. All right. I think we might move on to the next slide, and we'll start looking at some of the actual artwork that Jason put together. So, when you received the script for the first story arc,
Yeah.
and you've got the paragraph description of what's going to be happening, it's a paragraph description, so there's not a lot of detail there. How did that process start growing? What more did he give you? Did he start giving you updates, rewrites? What happened?
I would then just get the finished script after that. And
Okay.
after the initial what's happening, I just get the completed script. It's 22 pages, very detailed. Warren writes a lovely detailed script, sometimes down to like what a certain character's shoes are.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. So, some things.
Really?
It's mainly for the main characters like James Bond. Like,
Is there anything in particular that Warren does differently from other writers that you've worked with? Apart from the fact that he makes amazing stuff, we're just going to accept that Warren is Warren. How does he work differently? What do you see in the scripts that you get from other authors?
That's a good question. I'm a big fan of his scripts, so they're a lot of fun to read. On top of everything, I've worked with some really great writers, and it's difficult to say one's better than the other. I think for me, it's whether or not they'll let me throw in some of my own storytelling, and which Warren was quite generous with. He'll let me do that, and I think Warren writes some of the best fight scenes that I've ever had to draw.
Right.
You can see he really thinks about the logic of the scene and what's in an area and what James Bond could use or the villain could use in a fight, and that's a lot of fun to do.
Well, a couple of pages on from these particular panels that you'll be looking at, there's actually an interesting use of a cinder block.
Yeah, yes. Well, it was a construction site. What are you going to use?
It was a construction site. Interesting use of a cinder block, and then it threw immediately to a fight to the death with shovels.
Yes.
Yeah. So with
Sparring on a hill with a hillock.
Now, was this all Warren going, and this will happen, and then this will happen?
Oh yeah, it was. Especially on the first one, I stuck very closely to his script. I threw in 1 or 2 extra panels in the actual fight, just to what I thought would help with the flow and like the logic of where, because he doesn't know exactly how I've designed the area itself, and so if I've designed the area and I'll throw in a shovel here or a bucket there or something, it might just change the choreography a little bit.
Okay. So this is the opening sequence from issue 1.
Yeah, the cold open, which I'm still a big fan of.
Sorry?
The cold open.
The cold open.
Yeah. Made famous in James Bond films.
Yes. And now the new movies, there's famous parkour sequences, those sorts of things. Although you really don't see James. I mean, even going into that last image that we've got there on the screen, where James hasn't appeared yet, but the dread is there. Then there's the shot to draw somebody out of hiding, etc. Right. What do you then do? You receive the script from Warren, you decide to sit down and go, well, especially from the cold open, where am I going to set this? Did he just say that it's a city scene, construction site?
Oh, quite detailed construction site in Norway.
Okay.
I then will take it a little step further. I try to make things look. I don't know about you, but when you read comics and it's set in South Africa, and somebody will have somebody doing something on the Nelson Mandela Bridge, but then they'll draw a river underneath the Nelson Mandela Bridge. That sort of stuff can take you out of the story. So I try to do as much research as I can on an area.
Okay, so he says this is now set in this area.
Yeah.
A lot of Google Maps.
Yes, a lot of Google Maps, which is really useful. I go so far as to say, like, we had the character in one part here running past just through the street, and so you try and match architecture as much as you can to what would be in that area. There's a garage. I just decided to draw a garage in, and then I also try to find out. So what are the petrol stations like?
Right.
In Norway.
Yeah. How is
What's
it different?
famous? Are they different? What do they look like? And so I try and make them look like that. I want it to feel authentic because that's one of the things with James Bond. It's setting. It's you can't really pull off the grandeur of a film, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not shy for a James Bond movie to be set in amazing locations because they're amazing, and that's what needs to be conveyed. So Warren will set down that this is where these things are happening, and you'll just try and get that done
Accurate
as much as possible.
I can, yeah.
Right.
And most of the time I'm just faking it by sticking to cultural and
Don't admit that. We're
architectural
going
styles.
live. What are you talking about? Faking it. You don't fake a thing. Everything is planned and
Half the
meticulous.
guns I draw wouldn't fire. They probably explode on people the way I draw them.
What is it from the James Bond film? You're already a fan.
Yes.
What research did you feel you needed to do? What other things did you go and delve into to say, I need to make sure I get these things right? What was that process?
Well, I did the obvious thing of watching some of the films, just to try and pick out some of the mannerisms and acting. Like how do the various James Bonds hold themselves? Because it's not just about being James Bond. It's not about just being a guy in a suit. It's about being like an incredibly lethal weapon.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. I've said it before, but when he walks into a room, he's the most dangerous person there. So he should be comfortable. He's
Right.
not relaxed, but he's comfortable. Because, So how would a guy like that carry himself? And because it affects how he would act, how he would interact with people, and you end up doing a lot of play acting yourself in your head, or just all right. So now James Bond, what's his motivation? How's he going to look when he does this? That sort of thing.
Okay. Was there anything from the Bond mythology that you really wanted to go, I want to get my teeth into that?
I've got my teeth into the entire mythology. That I was very excited. I was excited to draw a James Bond car. We didn't do Aston Martins, and every single time the James Bond's car shows up, or a version of it, lately it seems to get blown up.
Yeah. I saw Casino Royale, and I saw they destroyed multiple Aston Martins, and I did.
And also the fighting itself. I actually drew an Aston Martin in, I think it was the second or third issue, just out of protest. And then it was the taxi that picked him up, and then it got destroyed by a truck. At least I got to draw an Aston Martin and James Bond in the same thing. It was great fun.
Gotcha.
I'm still probably going to try and sneak in the original James Bond car.
What, just looking parked on the street or something like that as they walk by?
Just walk past it. It'll just be on the street somewhere.
Does Warren pick up on minutiae like that? Like those little subtleties?
Oh, I'm sure he does, but he doesn't go, hey, I saw you did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hear, I guess, if he wasn't happy.
No. Look, I'm assuming if I don't hear from Warren, everything's fine. If I do hear from him,
then there's an issue.
I may be in trouble.
I think we might move along to the next slide. Cool. The next slide, that's pretty much the iconic image.
Yeah. That's the first time you see James Bond in the books.
Yeah, so that particular image that you have on screen now follows on. This is after the inventive use of a cinder block, the inventive use of shovels.
Chopping people's fingers off with spades.
Somebody's lost some fingers.
Yeah.
And then this is the iconic image.
It was a great shot, actually, to draw. Fun to draw because it's literally that shot in the beginning of the film where you're looking down the barrel and it's moving around.
Yes.
Originally, I designed it like that. I tried to do that whole spiral barrel thing.
Right.
And I tried to do an interesting layout where you'd come down and each panel would be part of a spiral as it goes down to the eventual shot, and then it's dead.
and you are now dead.
But unfortunately, we had to stay away from movie things. They didn't want James Bond to live in that world. Warren seemed to like the idea, but Dynamite was like, Ian Fleming's not going to go for it, so do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was actually keen on the barrel.
He liked it. He thought it was. He said, I remember he liked it. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. The first story arc is now collected together in hardback.
Yeah.
And you're already into the next story run. Warren, obviously, they were all Warren's ideas. Did you have any influence, or did you have any ideas that you suggested that actually showed up in the first story?
Again, just some fight choreography, things like that, setting scenes, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
I have to decide everything from how the location is set, where the camera is, how the people are acting, what are they wearing. I have to decide all those things. So yeah, there's a lot of me in there.
You would think that the author would, because authors tend to want to make the scene and cover the detail that this is it. So from what it sounds, Warren's telling you, this is what I want to happen.
Yeah.
And now this is up to you to make that vision a reality.
Yes.
Wow. Just a yes, right? Cool.
I'll do layouts, just rough layouts of how I see things.
Sure.
And then I mail them to both Warren and Dynamite, and they have a look, and they either say yay or nay. But quite honestly, I send layouts, and they just disappear into the ether.
And you have a look, and then you go to the comic store a couple of months later, and they're there.
Yeah, and I just when it comes to deadlines like I'm on now, I'll just be like, all right, well, I'm drawing this, and I hope it's okay.
With the story arcs, it's a definitive, it's a deliberate thing. So we're doing this story, then we're moving this story, we're moving this story. How far in the future do you know about?
Could
you give us all the script notes, please?
Sorry?
Give us all the script notes, please. Just tell us everything that Warren has told you.
Well, actually, I don't really know much of what's happening on the new arc Eidolon. I'm just getting the scripts as they come out from Warren. I think Warren's quite busy this time, or maybe editorial didn't send me the overarching thing. So I just get the scripts as I get them. I know what's happening in them.
Right.
Yeah. I'd love to give you script notes other than because I don't have them, so I make them up. But this is quite a fun one.
Okay, so James Bond gets a Zeppelin and he flies.
Well, what's quite fun is it's called Eidolon, which is another word for, I believe, a spirit or a ghost. So it's a whole play on Spectre. And so this new arc is, there's some hidden cells of Spectre hidden all over the world, various countries and various organizations, and somebody has stumbled upon some clues that they're still around. And now agents of Spectre are trying to kill the person who has discovered them, and James Bond is trying to keep her safe. Right. That's about as far as I am. And yeah.
When the idea of drawing James Bond came up, there's obviously certain iconic things, including the watch, the car, the ladies,
the drinking.
Sorry,
the drinking.
The drinking. Yes. Was there clarity up front as to there might be sort of slightly racy, how far are we going to go, none of that sort of stuff?
Oh, no, I only just now have drawn the first Bond girl. So, and it's not that racy. It's
the actual Bond girl.
Yeah. There's always a Bond girl.
Yes.
Warren's put an interesting take on it. You're not going to think of James Bond as a misogynist in this scene. Not at all.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, the shackles of misogyny have been, they've been thrown away.
It's the modernization, the correct modernization.
He's still James Bond, and he's still going to woo the ladies if he wants to woo the ladies.
Right,
but,
he'll still do that.
Yeah, how they react to him is going to be another story.
Well, with the series ongoing now, we moved into Eidolon. Actually, just even the word Eidolon. How often do you get something from Warren you're just like, oh, that's just like super clever?
That's so much.
How did you come up with that?
The question should really be like, how many times did you get stuff from Warren and then immediately hit Google so you can figure out what he's talking about? Like all the time.
Okay, so it's Google Maps on this tab, that it's definition, dictionary.com with
I spent a lot of time researching the whiskeys James Bond's drinking, or the cigarettes that he's smoking in or a bar.
The level of detail that you're putting into it is, this is what the cigarette looks like.
Yes.
this is how it burns.
Well, if Ian Fleming's going to make a note that the cigarettes that James Bond smokes are these particular cigarettes, and they have 2 gold bands past the filter, then I should probably put them in.
Is there actually a definitive James Bond Bible that they sent over? These are the key characteristics.
No.
No, there's not a Bible. They'll just refer to notes that he's made.
No, yeah, they don't even really. I just kind of take it upon myself.
Sure.
I think I could have gotten away with not drawing the right cigarettes or not drawing Pat Van Winkle bourbon in a very specific bar in Berlin. But if it's in the script and I want to make it look as accurate as possible, I could have just made it up. But it's better to.
But so you actually research. This is the shape of the bottle, etc.
Yeah, I wanted to try and make it as authentic as possible. I wanted it to feel like an immersive experience. And if somebody goes, "Oh, James Bond's drinking that," it'll be a little something extra for them.
There's it's something that I know that directors like. Here's a comparison for you, Jason. I compare you to Guillermo del Toro.
No. Not me.
Del Toro does a lot of stuff where
I might be his DOP.
a lot of detail goes into it, even though you'll never see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Like the set building for Hellboy, where there were books that were actually created, hundreds of pages long, with pictures and things, and it was a book that would sit on a table that would be in shot for maybe 10 seconds.
And never opened.
And it was never opened. But these were the things that were created, so the actors could actually say, I'm in this immersive experience.
Yeah.
What you're saying is from a James Bond perspective, that even if people don't know it, they're actually getting as accurate a description as possible.
I mean, the sets then seem to be designed for the actors for it to feel authentic, and I'm doing that just aimed purely at the readers.
Is that your thing? Okay.
Yeah, I want the readers to feel like, this is a proper James Bond experience. Other people are probably going to do it differently once I'm out there, but it's fun. It's fun for me, and it feels
now
more
you're
real.
revealing a softer side. It's not all about the money.
No.
This is for the readers. This is for the fans.
Yeah. Well, yes. Okay, you're right. It is. People must enjoy the book. They must understand that people are pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into the page, so that when they read it, they're getting an authentic experience.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as the comics industry in South Africa, we actually got a panel running later today and tomorrow with Moray Rhoda, Ray Witcher, and
Great
Susan.
guys.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
And we're great guys. Don't be mean.
They're nice. Yeah. Okay.
Nice enough.
They're nice. They're nice enough. I like that. They're nice enough. They're going to be talking about the state of comics in South Africa, doing a little bit of retrospection. This is what's happened moving forward.
Yeah.
You're a Joburg boy.
Yes.
But has
West Rand.
West Rand.
Yep.
So a boy from Roodepoort has managed to land a gig with one of the most famous comic writers in the world.
Yes. I am very lucky.
Sorry?
I am very lucky.
You are, yeah. you live in the dream. Now, channels like social media make it easy to connect with other creators, etc. Do you feel, what are your feelings on the scope of South African comics at the moment and the people that are in here?
I think we've got incredible talents. Honestly, I probably know 20 people that should be working internationally, and they just haven't gotten the attention yet.
Right.
With regards to the actual industry itself, you can't make comics for a local audience. If you want to make a living out of it, you have to make comics for an overseas audience. It's just it's all you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some of the names like Lauren Bierkus.
Yeah.
That's Vertigo titles, Survivors Club.
Brilliant author. Yeah,
Survivors Club.
All that stuff.
Have you ever thought of working with Lauren?
Oh, you know what? We're actually become pretty good friends, but we've never actually even brought it up. I think she's so busy and I've been so busy, we've never even spoken about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be cool. I'd love to work with Lauren. She's a great writer.
She's a fantastic writer. And Sean Isaacson has just started doing work. Yeah, him. He's nice enough as well.
Yeah,
he's nice enough as well. He was doing covers for Paizo, for Pathfinder Comics, and now he's working with Dynamite on the Harry Dresden comics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing very well, and I know there's some stuff.
Now, was that your, hey, look, guys, I know this guy.
Oh, no.
He's all right. Or was it from his work with Paizo?
No, it's Sean's a self-made man. I am trying to, I put his portfolio under the noses of as many editors as possible, but I don't think my editors trust me, maybe. but I know some stuff's happening with Sean coming up that I can't talk about and he can't talk about. So that's also pretty cool.
That's great. Thanks.
That's pleasure.
That's awesome.
That's his business to talk about when he's
Spoilers.
ready. I don't know what it is.
Spoilers,
I don't
come on.
know. He just mentioned that he might be doing something.
He might be doing a thing.
Sometime soon.
Well,
Yeah.
the
He's a self-made man. I didn't have anything to do with his success.
Short is fantastic. We've had him on the podcast before.
Yeah.
His origin story, the work that he used to do before he started was
That's interesting.
was quite spectacular. With the advent of social media and being able to reach out to other creators and connect, does make it great for your opportunities. Does it? But it also leads to now increased competition because everybody else who's a fan can also reach out.
Yes.
Have you had people reach out now that you're James Bond artist, Jason Masters James Bond artist? Is that now your byline?
No, I'd say I think my byline is still tell stories with pictures.
Tell stories with pics.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Have you had people now reach out to you and go, "Hey, fantastic work! I've got this idea. What can we do?"
Oh yeah, that has happened a few times. But it's easy enough to say to people that I'm very busy with what I'm doing right now, and so I get to avoid that without sounding like too much of a dick.
Some artists like guys like Jim Lee, who are just ridiculously quick and at being able to put stuff out, and they can work on multiple books at a time. You would be a one-book guy. This is what I'm focusing on.
I'm unfortunately a one-book guy. I mean, I might get faster. This is my first monthly run on a book ever. You know, all my other issues were fill-in issues. A couple issues here for Batwoman, helping out a little bit on Batman Incorporated with Chris Burnham, that sort of stuff. You know, just little bits here and there.
So with those comics now, you have to step in. You have to do a bit of research. What's the storyline? What's happening? Starting to get your own feel, which takes its own time.
Yes.
But now you're in this world.
Yeah.
You're in Bond's world.
Yeah. So things are a little bit faster. I do have a bit more of a handle on how to draw things and the vision. Because I'd say probably up until the sixth issue, I was still probably trying to figure out how can I push this. What is this? Is this the right vision for this? And I feel like it's coalesced quite nicely now for the second arc.
Right.
Hopefully everybody agrees when they read them.
And it does mean that there's also working with a playbook that you know that this is what he's going to wear, this is how he's going to act, these are the things. It's just going to make the rest of that process a lot easier, I guess.
Yes, it absolutely it does, for sure, because now I already know what Q's office looks like in the building of MI6, you know.
Speaking about that,
Q
known for the gadgets, how much fun did you get to have filling in the scenery? Did you decide, I'm going to just make this amazing array of gadgets and stuff, even if Q's never going to reference them?
Oh, for Q's lab?
Yeah.
I threw a few things in there, one or two things, but mainly more real-world things. I don't... If suddenly there was a laser shark in a tank somewhere, I think it would kind of take everybody out of the story, because it's a very grounded real-world, more of a real-world setting. I mean, James Bond has an iPhone, you know, and he has to take a regular airplane. I've drawn so many airports, it's ridiculous.
Did you... just as an aside, I saw an incredibly funny tweet about the Brexit yesterday.
Yes.
Somebody was saying that the next James Bond movie is simply going to be Bond trying to spend 2 hours getting through Charles de Gaulle.
Because he doesn't have the visa we already did it in the comic, so it's fine.
There we go. Yeah. So we've actually got... Well, now there's a question. What are the chances of the estate going, we like that storyline, could that be developed into a movie?
I thought about it myself, but
because then it's like superstar art director Jason Masters.
I think we're quite far from where the movies are,
right?
Just stylistically and gadget-wise. I don't know if anybody's going to be that interested in seeing on screen James Bond in the airport, but they might. You know?
Right. Okay.
I like to make a joke though to everybody, like how they're making a movie. They've made a movie of my comic already.
Right. So you're already there.
Yeah, they've already done it. They don't need to do it again. But no, it would be amazing. I think never say never. Who knows?
Never say never?
Yeah.
Because who knows what's going to happen?
Absolutely.
Right. You've already done a bit of foreshadowing, but now you've already told us that you can't really talk about it, because we're going to say, while we wish you all the greatest success with James 1 and for it to continue 100 issues at least.
Oh, I'm not on the third arc.
So, but we'll get there. We'll get to 100.
I think they've got a 10-year contract with it. With James Bond, maybe I'll come back.
Ah,
Well, I don't
that'd be
know.
great.
This is one of those rumors you read on the internet that could possibly mean nothing. Yeah.
So even you still kept in the dark with some of the things, and you hear these rumors.
Oh yeah, I'm very much in the dark. I'm just in the dark, studio, drawing, alone. At
Coffee.
night. Yes.
How much coffee do you drink? Are you a
Oh
coffee
no, I
guy?
try to keep it down to like maximum 3-4 cups a day.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, because you can't.
What is there? What do you actually do to actually sort of push through?
I'm just
Just the pressure of the
really
deadline?
stubborn. It's just stubbornness.
Just being
It's
absolutely
just straight up
stubborn.
stubbornness. Yeah, and you trick yourself into going, okay, look, it's 1 in the morning, but you really needed to finish this, so maybe just work on this little bit. This part you've already figured out. Just finish off this car, or just draw James Bond in this setting.
It's like one more round when you're playing
Yeah.
Civilizations.
And you just keep doing that. You
Just
just
one
keep you're mentally tricking yourself into to keep going until you're done, and then it'll be like, all right, I've fallen asleep in front of my computer now 3 times. It's 3 in the morning. It's time to go to bed.
It's time to go there. A lot of people often ask that. Well, you've made it, you've done it, and obviously you're working with Warren Ellis. So give me the secret to your success. What is the advice for budding artists? Give me the keys to your kingdom.
I think
But it's not
the
really like that, is it?
Yeah, the advice is the same for everybody. It's just keep drawing.
Keep drawing.
Yeah, honestly, as long as you get to a certain level of skill, people notice, and then you have to find projects that you're passionate about, and if you're passionate about something, and you make it, it'll come out on the page. It's that, yeah, it really is that simple. If you can,
Right.
yeah, I honestly believe the cream will rise eventually to the top, and it's going to happen here with all of our local artists. There's, yeah,
It
like I said,
kind of just has to.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just has to. There's people want to make more products. People like looking at good art, and yeah. So all those friends of mine, I'm going to be asking for them for advice very, very soon.
At the inevitable end of the James Bond run after the 10-year contract.
I'll ask Sean,
Ask Sean if he
give me some Pathfinder work.
Why not? Well, that is something that does happen. It's look. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen this? And passing that work around. That's how networking works.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's also in your best interest not to be a jerk and to be gracious in offers with anybody that you're working with.
Like my wife might disagree, but I'm not generally a jerk. I don't,
Is she here? I
Yeah,
know
she
she's
is
here.
there.
Oh, well, she's shaking her head vigorously.
yeah.
That's incredible. Wow.
Baby. Yeah. I don't like being a jerk to people in general.
It's not your nature.
No, it's not my nature.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're coming up to time now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that if you want a gritty, realistic, engaging, in-depth view of the greatest super spy of all time, you really do need to check out the James Bond comic. The new hardback edition of the first collected 6 issues, a self-contained story, is currently available. If it's not available, it is imminent. So head on down to your local comic book store and check that out. Jason will be heading over now very shortly to our signing area here at Icon 2016, coming to you live from Gallagher Convention Center, powered by Always On Wi-Fi. Other things that we've got happening here, the ability to fight tonight. Make sure you get down here and name the Always On Wi-Fi car. Use the correct hashtags, take a photo, and give it a fantastic comic book name. The winners will stand a chance to take home some amazing prizes, including a surprise Suicide Squad hamper. We have Harley Quinn on the floor today, we have Katana on the floor today, and a surprise appearance by Killer Croc as well. So make sure you get down to Gallagher Convention Center. $100 gets you in for the day, $150 for the weekend. Icon 2016 brought to you by Always On Wi-Fi, super fast Wi-Fi, available when and where you need it. So I'm going to say thank you very much again to Jason Masters for being so gracious with your time. I know you've got deadlines, so I know it was a lot to even get you out of the house
Fun. Thanks,
for a couple of hours. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I couldn't not do it.
Couldn't not do it.
This good.
It's
I had to
Icon
do it.
looking this good.
Yeah,
and we
man,
get to
I'm
publicly embarrass your wife. It was great. Yeah. Okay. Guys, thank you. Thanks, Jason Masters. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Oh? Hi, I'm Les Allen from GeekXP. If you liked this video, please be so kind as to like the video itself down below. And if you want to get updates on more of these types of videos from the GeekXP channel, please hit subscribe. Thanks very much, guys.